everyone, welcome to day 3, January 3rd of the 30-day yoga challenge. Today is all about balance. We are going to do some fun sequences that will challenge your balance. My recommendation always with balancing is to go at the pace that you can support. So don't go faster than you're feeling stable. Even if I'm going beyond you or with the sequence, feel free to slow it down so that you can really find your steadiness. So we're going to start standing today. We're going to go through 4 sun salutations just to get warmed up. And then we'll do a few sequences from there with some fun balancing opportunities. So you can come to either end of your mat, the short end, have a couple of blocks available at the top of the mat. And just begin in mountain pose. So finding yourself in good alignment, standing tall, really feeling the full surface area of your feet. Joining the hands in front of the heart. And then inhale to raise the arms. Exhale, fold forward and touch the floor. Inhale, step back with your right foot. Exhale, step back with your left foot. Place your knees down and sit back for child's pose. You're going to stay for 3 breaths. With the inhale, glide forward onto your belly. Open up for cobra pose. Exhale, release. Turn the toes under, downward facing dog. Inhale, step forward with the right foot. Exhale, step forward with the left foot. Inhale, raise the arms, come all the way up. Exhale, hands to prayer, and release the arms to mountain. So repeating the same sequence to the left, taking the hands to prayer. Inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, step back, left foot. Exhale, step back, right foot. Place the knees, sit back, child's pose. And again, 3 breaths. Really nice long exhalations. With an inhalation, glide forward onto your front side, open up cobra pose. Exhale, release, turn the toes under, downward facing dog. Inhale, step through left foot. Exhale, step through right foot. Inhale, raise the arms, come all the way up. Exhale, hands to prayer. And release the arms for mountain pose. So the last 2 sun salutations will be just slightly less modified. So we'll throw Chaturanga Dandasana in. Taking the hands together. Inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, fold forward. And jump or step back with both feet. Make your way to the floor, Chaturanga Dandasana. Come all the way down. Inhale, open up to cobra pose or upward facing dog if you can float the hips. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, jump or step forward. Exhale, fold. And inhale, raise the arms, come all the way up. Exhale, hands to prayer. Release the arms for mountain. And one last time, hands to prayer. Raise the arms. Exhale, fold forward. And jump or step back. Chaturanga Dandasana, cobra or upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Jump or step forward, fold forward. Inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, hands to prayer. And release your arms. Close your eyes, just take a few moments in mountain pose. Let the breath become smooth and steady. So the next 2 sequences we're going to base off of the sun salutation. So we'll begin where we are, bringing the hands together. Inhale, raising the arms. Exhale, folding forward. Taking your right foot back and then your left for downward facing dog. And just take a few luxurious breaths here, really feeling the full extension of your spine. And on an inhale, you're going to raise the right leg and exhale, step through and try to land the foot in line with the knee. From here, you're gonna come up to a warrior one position, raising the arms. Really try to extend the back leg and try to take the tailbone toward the front body. From here, you're gonna hinge forward over your right thigh for a version of warrior three. Place your hands on your blocks and go ahead and come off the back foot. Now here's where your balance starts to come in a little bit more. We're going to bring the hands up off of the blocks, bring ourselves up and place your left foot against your right leg for a low tree pose. Taking that left knee out to the side. And now we're gonna see if we can reverse what we just did. So from the tree pose, extend the leg back, bring your hands onto your blocks. And then bring your blocks with you as you step back to the warrior one position, raising the arms. And now you're gonna come back to downward facing dog. So make sure your blocks can kind of step out of the way. Take your right foot back. Inhale forward for plank. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, raise your left leg. Exhale, step through. And again, we're gonna find our way to that warrior one position, raising the arms, fully extending the back leg, taking the tailbone in, opening your chest, lengthen forward over that left thigh. Really reach out through your fingertips, but draw your shoulders toward your hips. And then take your hands down onto your blocks. Walk with your blocks as you come up off of the right foot. Holding your warrior three just for a couple breaths. And then we're gonna come up to that standing tree pose. So you can try to move your hands onto your hips, try to place the bottom of the right foot against the inner left leg and pointing the right knee out to the side. Take the outer left hip bone in so that you're not pushing out into your standing leg. And now we'll see about reversing the sequence back. So from this low tree pose, you're gonna shoot the leg, right leg back and come back to your blocks right underneath your shoulders. And then you're gonna step back with the right foot, bring your arms up, warrior one. And then exhale, come forward, touch the floor, step back into downward facing dog. Inhale forward for plank. Exhale, come down to the floor, cobra or upward facing dog, and downward facing dog. Okay, we're gonna do another sequence from the sun salutation. So on an in-breath, raise your right leg. On your exhale, step forward with the right foot. Pivot and ground your left foot. We're coming into triangle pose. Find your right block. Take it alongside your right foot. And then finding your way with left shoulder stacking above right shoulder for triangle pose. Couple breaths here. Really feeling the length of the left side body. We're going to carry this into balancing half moon pose. So the left hand comes onto the left hip, bend the right knee. You're going to walk with your block, step your left foot closer to your right foot. And on an exhale, come into that half moon shape. Taking the top arm up once you're ready. Bringing your left hand down, you're going to turn and face the floor. You're back in a warrior three position. Couple moments there. Try to find the level sacrum. Try to find the left toes pointing down. Revolving half moon now. Right hand comes to the right hip. Try to turn your chest off to the right. And this is where that twisting class will come into play. Hopefully your spine is nice and supple. from the twisting class of day 1. And now we'll reverse this back. So from revolving half moon where you are now, come back to warrior 3, placing your hand. Good. Go back and step into half moon. So you're going to turn and face out again to the left. And then you can take your top arm back to your hip and we will return to triangle pose where we started. Stepping back with the left foot, bring your block with you, straighten both legs, and realign the top arm above the bottom arm. Just a couple breaths. Carry the left hand down, pivot off of the back heel, and step back with your right foot, you're in downward facing dog. You can hold it here, or you can take a flow sequence between right side, left side. Inhaling for plank. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. With an inhalation, raise the left leg. So same sequence coming in on the left side now. Step through with your left foot. Pivot and ground your right foot. Propping your left hand alongside the foot. Finding triangle pose. Stacking right arm over left. Take your top hand down to your hip. We're going to come into balancing half moon. Start to bend the left knee, tracking. You're going to move the block with you. You're going to track the wrist with the shoulder and come up on an exhale into that half moon pose. We're going to be pointing the chest toward the floor to return to that version of warrior 3 we're working with today. So 2 matching blocks in your hands, rolling that outer right hip down so that your sacrum becomes level, like you could hold a little teacup on the middle of your sacrum. From here, we're going to come into revolving half moon pose. So we'll keep the right hand down, take the left hand to your left hip, start to revolve your torso and chest to the left. Finishing off an exhalation, you can inhale back to, step down there. Keep your leg lifted, warrior 3. And now see about returning to half moon, rolling that right hip back above the left, taking the hand onto the hip first, and then see about stacking the arm, that cherry on top. And then we'll find our way back to triangle pose. Take the hand back to the hip. Step down with your foot, travel with your block, straighten out your legs, realign the top arm. Couple breaths. Exhale, turn and face the floor. Touch down with the right hand, pivot off the back foot, step your left foot back, downward facing dog. And inhale, tiptoe toward the wrists. Let your feet be hip distance wide, and then grab your opposite elbows and dangle freely here. Just let the chain of the spine release from that kind of constant relationship with gravity. So you're getting a reverse flow of gravity along your spine. Let your head be nice and heavy. Change the crossing of your arms. Just enjoy a couple more deep breaths. Really go into those exhalations. Drop your hands, bend your knees, take hold of your hips, and come up. All right, so we're going to come into a little playful sequence of Padangusthasana, that's hand to big toe pose, but we're going to do it hands-free, and then into hands-free warrior 3. And we're going to try to transition 5 times on each side. So we're going to be working with the right leg as our aerial leg first, left leg will be your standing leg. I like to practice with my hands on my hips. I recommend you do that as well. And try to clamp the elbows in a little bit, which keeps your chest lifted and your shoulders broad. So go ahead and make sure you're stepping well into the left foot. You're going to lift your right leg and just extend it out in front of you. Use your core muscles to support the weight of that leg so that your low back isn't doing all the work. You can bend the knee, tip your torso forward and shoot the right leg back. Remember the idea of the level sacrum. Good, and bring it back. We'll do a second attempt here. Extending the leg. And then again, that idea that you're moving at the speed of presence. So don't go faster than the body is ready for. That's one of the keys to balance, is that we stay present. We don't rush. Here's number 3. Keep clamping your elbows in to keep the chest lifted and spread. Here's number 4. Last one. Good. On this release, step the right foot down. Prop your left heel kind of in front of you with the toes pulled up and just lean forward or hinge forward to really give the back of the left leg a little bit of a stretch. That leg just did a lot of stabilizing for you, a lot of kind of micro tension. So we just want to kind of address that and release it. Side 2. I'm just turning around for fun. You don't need to. Anchor into your right foot. Find your stance with your elbows clamping in. Lift the left leg. And how high we go is really determined by where you can find your straight leg. So if you take your bent knee up way high, but then you can't straighten, that's too high. So take your leg up enough where you're able to fold the leg. So we'll start with number 1 here, extend back, warrior 3. Moving at your own pace. Okay, use your core, the center of gravity. 3 more. And if you wiggle and wobble and fall, just remember that's all really good information for the body. We learn that way too. So it's not like you failed. We learn from every little move we make and every mistake we make. Okay, I lost count. So let's say this is the last one here. And from the warrior 3, touch down with the left toes. Take that right heel out in front of you, pull the toes up so you're really extending the back of the leg, hinge forward, and just give a few good breaths to the back of your right leg. And help yourself up. We're going to now practice Padangusthasana with the strap. So the one you just did with your leg out in front of you is usually done either with a strap or with a big toe hold. So we're going to assume we're going to default to least common denominator here and have everybody work with a strap. If you're able to work hand to big toe, feel free to do it directly. Another tip, if you're feeling really kind of compromised with balance, do this against a wall so you can have the wall behind you. I'm going to face the camera now. We're going to start with the right leg again as the aerial leg. So you can take your strap underneath your right foot and then you're going to bend the knee. And again, the same height requirement. So wherever you can take the thigh up nice and high, but still be able to find a straight leg. And then you're going to really try to pull back on the toe or the strap so that your shoulders get back, your elbows clamp together, your chest is lifted and broad. Okay, so from here, right hand takes over with both straps. Left hand is going to move onto your waist, and you're going to start to guide your leg to the right. Remember that idea of pulling the outer standing leg hip bone in? This will make you more compact and stable. As an extra credit piece, you could look off to the left, averting your gaze. Otherwise, keep your gaze forward. Okay, we're gonna bring the leg back to center. You're gonna take hold with your left hand, and now we're coming into a twist. So with your right hand, take it onto the hip. You can see my arm is kind of hidden here. That's because I'm clamping my elbow. And then you're gonna turn and revolve your torso to the right. If you're able to, reach back with that right arm and maybe look toward the fingertips. Okay, and reverse those steps. Help yourself. I didn't mean to just fall out of it, but sometimes that happens. So help yourself come out of it. And then like we did before, you're gonna just release the standing leg, propping the heel kind of out in front of you, pulling the toes up and leaning over the leg. There's lots of ways to release the leg. That's just how we're gonna do it today. Okay, so other side. One piece of our practice is not getting attached or disgusted by what we're doing. So we don't want to get all excited and proud. We also don't want to shame ourselves. So that is part of the practice, is letting go of what you just did and knowing all practice is good practice. Okay. So side 2, Padangusthasana 1, the leg goes out in front. This is the left leg, now is the aerial leg. Okay, you're only going to move to the side once you feel really stable and ready. And then left hand takes both straps, right hand props up on your hip. You're going to start to guide the leg to the left. Really sucking that outer right hip bone into midline. Maybe trying that alternate gaze. See how that goes. Don't be afraid to try stuff. Okay, realign the gaze. If you did alternate the gaze, go ahead and bring the leg back to center and pass your straps into your opposite hand. We're going to take left hand onto the hip. Now you're going to revolve the torso to face off to the left. Maybe at some point extending the left arm back, maybe also looking toward the fingertips. As far as you took it, you're going to reverse the steps. If the arm went back, you're going to bring it back to your hip. Good, realign your torso, pull back on that strap, come back to stage 1, and then bend the knee, step down, release the strap, propping that right foot out in front of you, hinging over the hip, releasing the back of the leg. Couple deep breaths. I'll go ahead and stand up. One more standing sequence here for balance. Eagle pose, Garudasana, a very compact pose. We bring everything to midline. So I'm going to pair it with 5-pointed star, which isn't really a pose, but we are going to just kind of imagine all the energy we're pulling in to midline with Garudasana. We're going to kind of equalize that and send it back out again. Okay, so you're going to start in Tadasana. Your legs are hip distance. We'll be wrapping the right leg around the left leg first. You can take hold of your hips and you're going to kind of weight bear into your left leg, lift your right foot and try to wrap one leg around the other. So it's kind of like one knee is in front of the other. And it's kind of like that stance you see children do when they have to go to the bathroom. So you really, sometimes I describe it as you're trying to hold a coin between your inner thighs. You're pulling everything to midline. Okay, so you can do this piece in segment, or you can do this pose in segments, working on the lower half or the upper half. So know that you don't have to do the whole thing all together at the same time. But if you're able to, you're going to add in the arms, taking the arms out in front of you, 90-degree elbows, and then you're going to tuck the right elbow underneath the left, wrapping the arms, connecting the fingertips, and suddenly you've got nothing to look at, which is a good thing. You're going to pull your attention inside your body and just kind of be a witness to presence, which is really what's required when we're balancing. And if this is really a struggle, I'll show you modification on side 2. So on inhale, you're going to unwrap and step off to the right. You can keep your feet parallel, they don't have to turn out. Let your arms be level with the floor. Kind of express energy through the fingertips and close your eyes if you can. If you're feeling dizzy, just lower your gaze. Don't fully close your eyes. And all that energy you just invited to midline, towards center, you just compacted, just kind of send it back out in these 5 directions. Wonderful. Go ahead and open your eyes and revolve the arms halfway so palms face up. And on the inhale, bring your hands together above the head and bring the feet together. crescent pose. So plant your feet deep into the earth, lift and all the way up through the fingertips, which mine are cut off in the screen, but try to straighten your elbows so much that your arms are one straight line. Take an inhale here, and your exhale, you're going to tilt to the left. Inhale back to center, and on the exhale, you're going to tilt to the right. Keeping the arms straight. Don't let your elbows bend, which is tempting. Squeeze the elbows in. It's a cleaner line of energy for the arms. Inhale, center, and now exhale, lengthen back. It doesn't have to be deep, but make sure it's spacious. Lengthen from the tailbone out through the crown of the head. Guide the energy through lifting those fingertips, up, up, and away. And now inhale yourself up and out of it. Exhale, release the arms. Okay, so same thing, second side, Garudasana. You can widen the feet just a little bit. This time we're going to be wrapping that left leg around the right. So I told you about a modification. So if you're really wobbly here, put your toes down on the ground or put a block next to your right foot and put your toes on that. So you can kind of build the shape, but prop up the negative space. This is a big Iyengar technique, is we use props until we no longer need them so that we can learn the wise actions of the pose rather than just kind of clenching it and waiting for it to end, which is never a good idea or experience. So find your legs first, squeezing tight between the thighs. Both knees are bent, so you don't have a stiff flamingo leg with your standing leg, you have a bent knee, and then the elbows come into play. This time, left elbow goes underneath right, hands come together. And even though we're opening the upper back, we're also keeping the chest broad. We're not opening up upper back at the expense of the chest. So somehow keep your chest broad and your upper back broad. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Inhale, unwrap and step out to the left. Parallel feet, arms extending sideways, eyes closed or gaze lowers. Release your shoulder blades down your back. And whatever your breath is, be a friend to that breath. Be big enough container for that breath. Don't make it smaller or quieter. What it is, let it be. Eyes open, palms turn up. Inhale, step the feet together. Arms are fully extended. Palms are pressing together. Inhale, big, exhale to the right. Don't let your arms bend. Inhale, big, come back to center. Exhale to the left. And inhale, big, come back to center. Exhale. Take a gentle but spacious back bend. And inhale, bring yourself out of it, exhale. Release your arms, keep your legs where they are, close your eyes. Turn your palms to face the camera so that your shoulders move in the right direction, the inner arm flesh turns out. And then keeping what you feel in the upper arms, realign your palms to face in toward the thighs. Adjust the skull, which is most of the time sitting too far forward. Face moves towards the back of the head. Compact your thighs, compact your tailbone toward the front body. Relax your jaw. Feel how stable your mountain pose has become after all that playful balancing work, which may not have felt successful, but look at you now. And quietly, slowly open your eyes and put yourself in Shavasana just for a couple minutes. It's always important to take this pose. Even if you're out of time or you have an appointment, really save some time, at least a minute or two for this pose. It's the piece that integrates the work we do physically into the body-mind so that the mind really takes on the influence of this gross physical body. And by gross, I mean large. And in Shavasana, you're completely passive and surrendered in your body. We've addressed the physical tension And now the body actually feels as if it can rest. And the mind, which is by default very active, now somehow feels like it can become quiet. I welcome you to stay as long as you'd like. And if you're going to come out with me, just start to take a few deeper breaths. Maybe start to wiggle your fingers and toes. Folding your hands onto your belly, bending your knees, stepping your feet onto the floor, and shifting to your side. And it's important that you honor this transition from the corpse pose to the fetal position and then to seated in a way that we're not rushing back into life. So I like to treat this transition as a little microcosm of how we move through our day. So again, move at the speed of presence. And when you are ready to come up, use the pressure of your hands into the floor to help you. And you always want to take a moment to sit quietly and just acknowledge the effects of your practice. Once you're seated, bring the hands together in front of the heart. From the place within me that I know to be divine, I honor that place within each of you. Namaste.